Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's edition of Small Business Breakthroughs. And today I am at Columbus State Community College, and as my friend Jeff Spain says, it's a great day at Columbus State. So we are excited to have you guys here today. And we are excited about today's topic. We're going to be talking about how small businesses can actually utilize and leverage AI for their business. A couple things before we start. As I said, my name is Mike Bowers. I am with the Small Business Development Center at Columbus State Community College. The SBDC is a national program funded in part by the SBA, Small Business Administration, as well as in Ohio, the state of Ohio. We also have a great partner in the city of Columbus that helps us do SBDC stuff. And SBDC stuff is working with small businesses and small business owners to help them have stronger businesses and be more successful. Our services are either on an advising type relationship, one-on-one or group, and in trainings. And this would be classified as one of our trainings. Our advising services are free of charge to the user. So if you are not working with the SBDC and you would like to do so, please feel free to reach out to us through our website, which is sbdccolumbus.com, or you can send messages in today's chat to Teresa Green, who is part of our team, and she is going to be handling all of the back office logistics, I guess, lack of a better word, that we're working with. So again, we're really happy that you guys are here. If you have not gone to check it out, our last episode is up on our YouTube channel, where you go to YouTube, and again, it's Ohio SBDC. So when you do that, you're going to see a whole bunch of SBDCs. Make sure it says Columbus State Community College, but it is up on the YouTube channel if you want to take a look at that and check it out. Plus, I think there's another 55 of them up there too. So go ahead and check those out. So today, as I said, we're excited because we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence and how small businesses can use that. I mean, I think that a lot of the stuff that I think you see on, if you, like me, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube about AI. I watch a lot of different things, or things that you might see in the news or other things like that. A lot of times that, I think, and we'll get our guest opinion on this, is it's really geared a little bit more toward the larger businesses or to individuals. And I think small business owners sometimes get left out of that, in which case then they don't implement these pieces. And like our guest has told me before, if you don't get on board with this, then you're going to get behind, and then you're going to have a problem. So we're going to go ahead and jump in here. Our guest is Sasikala Sundaram. Is that close?
Sasikala Sundaram. Yeah.
Very good. And she is the founder and CEO of Sasikala AI, and we met. She is doing some training programs currently at the Dublin Entrepreneurial Center for different verticals of small businesses. And I saw this posting that she was doing these trainings, and I reached out, and we were able to connect. So I think this will be a fun thing. Also, if anyone here in the group wants to ask a question, feel free to put it in the chat, and we will try to grab that. Also with us today is Miguel Malone. He is a Columbus State student, and he has been brought on to serve as an intern, focusing on the AI space and working with some of our small business clients. Miguel is also bilingual, so he does do this for both English-speaking and Spanish-speaking clients. So Miguel, thank you for jumping on with us today.
Thank you, Mike.
So let's go ahead and get started. Actually, why don't you kind of tell us a little about yourself, your background, kind of your journey to get where you're at today, and then we will jump in and start talking about AI.
True, true. So, quick background about me. I come from corporate. I have been in corporate, worked as a tech lead and architect for more than 18 to 20 years now. Recently, it's been a year, I started my startup to help small and mid-sized companies implementing AI. And the reason I started my own firm is with enterprise, I got exposed to more of AI stuff where we have big team of people trying to figure out how we can implement AI for enterprise. But I have my friends in local community who are running business. So when I was talking with them, there is a big gap or there is a need for small business to understand how AI will help them. So that's the reason that motivated me to start this business so I can work with small and mid-sized companies on educating them about AI, how and implementing AI for the small business and mid-sized companies.
Yeah, the thing that I find interesting, and I've kind of referenced it a little bit already, but um, is really trying to get small business owners or folks that are in a small business to really understand the how an AI
Mhm.
implementation can help them. And it's kind of start there. I mean, how do you, when you think about AI, um, more so from a small business standpoint, but when you think about AI, how do you think about it?
See, AI is not something new, which it might be popular now, but if you think about it, we are not going to change the business model. Even without AI or without automation, people are running business, they are making profit, they are progressing. This AI, when now it is a buzzword, it's becoming more popular because it is helping small and mid-sized companies to run their business more efficiently so that they can save money and time, they can be more efficient. So when I see AI for small business, I'm seeing this as an wrapper for their business. So you already know how to run your business. As a small business, we know who are all our customers, who we are delivering to. That n- core knowledge is not going to change. How we run business is not going to change. But by using AI or by implementing AI, we are going to see how we can automate or how we can save some of the manual work or how we can try to be more efficient with AI so that we can save time and money. That's how I see it. When people think about AI, they think, okay, it's going to replace my job, or it's no, it might shift how we do our job, but for small and mid-sized companies, I think there are a lot of opportunity when they go use new technologies like AI.
You know, when I first started in this space, it was in 1999. Now I'm obviously dating myself now, but you know, at that point, it was all about the internet, and you had the heavy venture capital flow into any sort of internet company, um, and obviously then that kind of thinned itself out. But I think at the time, everybody was kind of thinking the same thing: is that okay? Well, we're uh, got this whole internet thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what to do with this. And I specifically remember questions: do I need a website?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, and you've seen that progression of the development of the internet, development of web
Mm-hmm.
presences, development of search, and all of those types of things over time. Do you see AI just kind of as an extension of all of this, or is this really kind of shift?
I would say it's an extension, but as you said, in our lifetime, the big eras, what we have seen is internet, and then when Apple came, more, apps came, and now today, if you see, we use at least 2 to 3 apps in a day, like a bank app or Uber, or many a game. We have lot of things in our phone. So people, analysts say AI is a monster wave. I'm like, okay, why do you call this as a monster wave? We have seen internet as one wave. When Apple came, technology changes. That's as a wave. Why do you think AI is a monster wave? The explanation, what the status analysts are giving is, initially, when technology went and changed how people do business, for example, in medical or in accounting, when they were doing it in ledger, writing down, they said, okay, use computer, you can have your website, you can do this. So we went, and technology companies went and disrupted those industries, saying that use these applications like a SaaS platform, or any other automation. And similar to that, medical. So technology always went and disrupted those industries, saying that you can adapt to these technologies, change it. But now technology itself changing. How we do programming have changed. If you have seen, I have been in IT for many years. How we write program have changed. So we are changing, technology itself changing. It's how we do programming and how we build product. At the same time, it is disrupting other industry at the same time. So it's kind of like, it's a chaos, but it's in a good way. In a good way, it is helping business to reach, especially small and mid-sized companies can reach quality of technology with very less cost, and they can implement it within few weeks or few months. If you have to do similar project, it would have took them years, which is not reachable for small and mid-sized companies with the budget and what we are planning. So now with AI and these new technology, it's very affordable. So the big win, who who can get through AI, is small and mid-sized companies. When I worked in Cardinal, we used to pour a lot of money. We put a plan for the project starts, goes for 2 to 3 years. So to get the ROI, we have to invest, keep pouring money to get the ROI in 3 years time frame. But in small business, the money they invest, they could see the return. If they efficiently plan for AI, they could see the return within weeks. So the time frame is drastically different.
Interesting. Um, Miguel, did you have a question? I know we were talking about how owners and individuals can be using AI tools to kind of pull some stuff together.
Yeah. I have a question about how can you explain um, how a small business can connect tools like email, CRMs, or spreadsheets to automate workflows in their business?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So there are multiple ways to do that. Usually with email and calendars, and if they have an API, it's easy to integrate. We could do it through ChatGPT. We can create a small agent in ChatGPT to connect to your email and consolidate, and we could plan for the day what meetings you have, or if we want to write a reply back, it can write an email reply and put it in a draft. So this all happens if we have an API enabled system, which most of the tools we use today, small business use, whatever CRM or the point of sale system, and any email calendar, they all have a common API for the system. So we could use that to connect, and this is a simple agent. There are extension of this where we build complex agents where it can connect to multiple system, make decision, make action based on the decision, and then it can deliver the result. So you could start small, and then we can keep expanding to to a different level.
I think that that's valuable because I've worked obviously with small business owners for years and years, and uh, I think when we're talking about implementing these types of tools, or really anything, they have to be comfortable with it. And it's almost like, okay, I have this, and this in place.
Mhm.
And if we can do X, Y, and Z, then all of a sudden I can get operate better, more efficiently, and things of that nature. So it's not some huge change. It's like I already have this, we can keep this, and we can use this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely I agree. As I said before, we are not changing how you do business. It is more like how you can efficiently do your business. For example, when I do my presentation, I talk about 80/20 rule. Today, if you see any small business or mid-sized companies, we spend almost 80% of our time in running the business, whether it could be sending email or creating a proposal, talking with the customer, maintaining what's in the pipeline. So we spend a lot of time in running the business, almost 80%. The rest of the 20% time, what we get, we invest in how I can expand my business, how I can reach out to more clients. We have limited time to do that. Now with AI, what we are saying is, think about AI is a wrapper or methodology around your business, where you are building a layer, where you're automating some of your manual stuff, or some of the stuff which could be easily a computer can do. You don't need a human to run that. Create that wrapper for your business, so that you can slowly bring that 80% of the operation time, slowly reduce that to 30 or 40. So you can run your business whether you're here or anywhere, or however we want to implement. 30 to 40% of your time you can spend running, operationalize your business, run your business. Rest of the 60 to 70%, spend it on growth. How do you want to expand? How do you want to get new clients? Spend your energy and time on your growth, not running day to day activities. So that's the 80/20 rule we are trying to show business. When we go talk with a small business, we put that plan. Okay, today these are your clients, these are your leads coming in. How do you manage it? How do you do it? So when I talk with any small business, I don't just go say build an agent or you need this. I want to understand a complete start to end how they run the business, and then I can put a plan on, roadmap plan for next 6 months to 1 year. How do you slowly take one step at a time, implementing ROI, implementing the AI, and see the ROI. So we put a plan that is exactly enterprise level standard we are trying to bring to small and mid-sized companies. That's what enterprise architects do. We are bringing the same standard to small and mid-sized companies, so that they will have a plan to. Everybody wants to implement AI, but they don't know how. So we give them the plan. This is how you implement for your business. Take one step at a time. Invest your money. See your ROI. When you see ROI, you will get more confident, and then go for the complex implementation. Start slow, and then go from there.
So when we're talking about AI, we're talking. I want to get back to what you were just saying, but I want to kind of move in here a little bit. When you talk about implementing AI solutions, are you talking about primarily using these LLMs like ChatGPT and things of that nature? Or, is this a broader category of AI, generative AI, that has to be developed to be able to do this?
No, it is all it's all integrated. So if you see Chat GPT or Claude or Copilot, whatever we have, you could still use that. And today you might be using with a limitation, but having a plan and automating, you're extending its capability. So if you see how much of Chat GPT potential we are using today, or an OpenAI potential might be 10 to 15 max, but the capacity or its potential is way high when you fully automate it. So it is kind of, think about, it's an extension. Whatever technology or LLM they might have already using it, we can see, analyze it, and okay, can we extend this for your use case? It's all based on the use case what we want to implement, right? Based on the use case, we can say, oh, you already have a good starting point. You already have a technology running. How can we extend this to solve your pain point? So that's how I would approach. That's what I have done it in the past with small and mid-sized companies, because I know small companies, we are in a budget friendly environment where we go with a strict budget. So we want to I can come up with any cool architecture, but if I'm not solving a business problem, if they are not getting the money back, then there is no point of bringing any cool technology to the table, especially with the small and mid-sized companies. So
Right,
if they're
absolutely.
using, yeah, if they're using any technologies, then Copilot is good. It has a lot of potential. How to expand that to solve their business problem? How are they using it today? How can we expand it? How can we expand? If you're using ChatGPT, how can we expand that to automate some of your process? If they don't have anything, we can start from scratch depending upon the use case. What type of LLM would work best, what type of agents would work best for them, we can suggest and we can go from there.
So we have two questions in the chat that kind of speak to that. So I want to just kind of jump into these two. I mean, and it looks like both of them are, one, trying to assess what maybe LLMs make the most
Mhm.
sense. I mean, there's reference to Copilot, there's ChatGPT, things of that nature. So I know you said, okay, if you're using something, then
Mhm.
we can work with that.
Yeah.
But have you found better AI tools to use as the base of what you're trying to do than others? I mean, and again, this is maybe your opinion. My opinion is not Copilot, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, it all depends on the use case. There are I can there are people like say the small business which they don't want to use Copilot. They like ChatGPT more. So they're different because how they use it matters for their business. So every LLM or every tool has its own plus and minus. It's all based on the business use case, what we are trying to solve, that matters. So Elaine, I'm seeing her question as like a small business starting out, and we seem like a chat gpt each day. So if they're using chat gpt every day for project planning and stuff like that, how are they using matters? Are they giving information like a search engine? They are giving information, and are they getting information back, or it is fully automated? So chat gpt also have potential to do fully automated agents. So can we s- see what they are doing and suggest how they can automate it more, so then you don't have to manually keep doing the same thing every day whenever you get a proposal?
Right.
So that's what I think I touched on the multiple LLMs, the same. It's all based on the use case, how what we are trying to solve. When small business have their business pain point every day running an operation, if they are spending more time, it doesn't matter what tool, every tool has its own plus and minus. We have to see which will be working best for that business for that use case.
So when you say that the tool has a plus and minus,
Hmm.
is that kind of general plus and minuses? Because that gets into the next question. What are key differences between some of these platforms? But is that, okay, so we have general plus and minuses, but then if I'm a food-based business,
Hmm.
there's additional pluses or minuses for different ones.
Hmm. Yeah. It's as I said, it's based on the small business owners who what tool they are very comfortable using it. Train learning curve is already we don't want to bring something new to their team or to their system, which might take a big learning curve. If they are very comfortable using Copilot, we have to see like, okay, you are already using, you have implemented these stuff, this is where you're using, how can we expand that? So that's the approach. We can tweak LLMs or LLMs, we can tweak it, we can come up with an alternative option if the team is very comfortable using ChatGPT or any other tools. um, Voice agent is getting more popular nowadays, which is kind of like a virtual assistant taking calls for for any business, like it could be massage center or yoga center or cleaning agency or dental office, off our timing, or even during the time when they call the phone number, the agent will pick the call and it will answer based on their business information. Usually when I call for a yoga center or any cleaning service, we might be asking, okay, what services do you do, some general questions, right? It would answer, it wouldn't stop there, it would say, okay, do you want to book an appointment? When the customer says yes, now the agent, we have to give access to the calendar. So agent can go to the calendar, check the availability, and it can reply back saying that I have availability on Wednesday 3 o'clock, Thursday 2 o'clock, or you do you want to book an appointment? When they say yes, then the agent will go to the calendar, block that time, send a text message to the owner. At the same time, it can send a text message to the customer if they have given a phone number when they were talking. So if we collect the phone number, it can send a text message to the customer saying that your appointment has been confirmed. So that's the Gen AI, which is getting more popular nowadays, because it is not just giving information in the chat or in the voice over IP, like where it's just giving one way. It is taking action. When I say book an appointment, it is going to the calendar, it is checking, and it is taking action. It is booking a appointment, sending a reply back. So it is kind of a full complete loop, from asking question to taking action, finishing the task. That is making it more powerful nowadays. That is why it is getting more popular every single day, because people see people see value. It's not just providing information, it is taking action, and it is making decision based on the information what we are providing. So that's the big difference.
And so do you see, because I know in the trainings that you've been doing in
Mhm.
Dublin, you have trainings kind of set up for different verticals.
Mhm.
Do you see different verticals as being a better fit, or do you see, how do you see some of the differences between, just pick a couple of the verticals and
Yeah. So this month, what we did was, first Thursday was for manufacturing, then we did for healthcare, and then we did one for home operate service industry. So when we do for we grouped it in that way because we want to see questions for that domain. So we don't want to general examples, we don't want to give general examples. When we talk about healthcare, we want to give example what healthcare industry is using, how they are using, so that they can connect to those examples, because they are seeing the same pain points, right? So it is easy for them to connect. So manufacturing PO order was one thing. People liked it because when today people spend a lot of time in manufacturing getting PO orders or invoices, manually typing that to any system. It could be an ERP or it could be any other system. They see a document and then they type that information in the system. We could easily automate that, and it's not complex automation, it's a simple automation where you can get the data automatically loaded to the system. That is one simple use case, which is not just for manufacturing. It could be used in any industry if they are dealing with manual paperwork or manual document, and seeing the document, and if you're feeding that information to a system, that could be easily automated, which small business do a lot in their everyday operation. It could be invoice, or it could be a PO order, or it could be some document they get from clients, or it could be a proposal, or it could be something, some email they used to send for outreach. But they might be doing the same thing, or with small variation, they might be creating the same content again and again. Those are the areas where AI can help them to make it more efficient.
yeah. So Miguel, you had a question that you wanted to ask about implementation.
Yeah, my question is about implementation, but you mentioned something before our API.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that APIs is like how they communicate, no? Different
Mhm.
applications. When you try to implement like or automate something at the company and you now try to connect that to the API, um, the small business has they need to have some like a technical knowledge about what is this, or you are gonna help with that connection and integration, or are they gonna need some like some technical staff to maintain the system?
Okay, good question. Very good question, actually. This is a common question we get when we work with small business. We know small, I work with cleaning companies where they don't know about technology, but they know their pain point, they want to fix, they know their business. That's where people like us come in, saying that, okay, I understand your pain point, this is the technology can solve your pain point. I think about, like, when you have a headache, I'm like a doctor, I'm prescribing you some medication. Similar to that, we come and we say, okay, I understand your pain point, we know what technology can solve this, and we put a plan and we build an automation, or it could be an voice agent, anything to solve that pain point, and we implement it. Once it in the maintenance stage, basic stuff we'll teach the team. Basic stuff on, if something happens, how to change it, or how to, if you want to add a new record, or if you want to add a new information, we can create a front end, and easily business can use it through in a front end. We can do that. We'll teach them some basic stuff which is easy for them to do. If they can use Amazon to order a stuff, they can do it. So in that level we do it. But if they want to expand the agent, because there are use cases when we implement it in the first stage, people see the benefit in weeks, they get more excited, they're like, okay, Sashi, I like this, I want to use it for the next use case. Then we come, we help them to automate, and then they can run with it. So my point is, like, I when we work with any small business, we teach them some basics, so that they can run, they don't need to depend on any of the bill companies for maintaining simple stuff. When it comes to complex, definitely you need a technical knowledge to be there to fix it, and run with it. We have, when we build some big agent complex agents, we do support as well. So we build, we do deliver it, and then we can support. It's a monthly cost and stuff like that, but we do support model.
Great. So let me ask you here. So I don't know what's going on in the space. This just kind of hit me. Um, so I'm a small business owner. I have a, small manufacturing, or, I love the fact that you're able to say, hey, I got a cleaning company, I got a service company, things like
Mhm.
that. Because again, in my opinion, small business owners like that kind of get left behind.
Yeah.
And people don't say, hey, this is how you do this, or this is how you do that, or this can make you more profitable. So I like that. Um, but who else is out there? So if I got a small business, who else may be calling on me trying to do AI stuff that may not be uh, appropriate? I mean, is the average web developer that 2 years ago that was their primary thrust,
Hmm.
and now they're coming in and say, hey, we can do all this AI stuff. Is that typically legit, or should the small business owner be kind of thinking about?
Eventually it will come, because think about, when when you have a business 50 years back, you don't need an internet, you don't need a website. If you are starting a business today, a basic stuff is, you need at least a landing page, you need a website, you need to take credit card, you need to have some app where they can order in phone or stuff like that. Similar to that, if eventually you might need an agent to run your business, you will get there, whether it could be in a year or two, or in 5 years, 10 years, depending upon what business you are in. You need to, we will be in a position where you and I will be using an agent, how we are using an phone app for a banking app or stuff like that. We will all be using an agent eventually, whether it could be reading my email, or whether it could be planning my calendar, or whether it could helping me to book a flight. It's like it will be eventually, we will be there, but how soon, honestly, I don't know. I am also in the same mix as a startup. I am how we run business also keep changing, how we, so we'll all learn together, but it is coming. It is coming. Once we know how to get prepared for it, as I said, the business model is not going to change. How we do business is not going to change. Uh, but the base core is not going to change. But the operationalizing, how we run business every day might be changing.
Absolutely. So I have a question. So I know, for example, that again, this may be a little bit different but from an AI standpoint, um, I don't know if it's rolled out 100% yes or not, but so like Gemini, so if you have Google stuff and you're doing Google things, you can set Gemini up to where it comes in and figures everything out. So it reads all your emails and it reads all your calendar and it reads
Mm-hmm.
all your files and it
Mm-hmm.
reads all this. So it is more, it have a bigger impact,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
guess is the point, right?
Yeah.
However, I know that there may be some security and privacy issues there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not asking you to speak to Google, but when you're thinking about AI implementation, how do you think about security and privacy?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question too, because with AI, that's some concern every time we get is like, how secure is my data? I'm putting my client information. I want to make it secure. How LLM have grown in last year, even within this 1 year itself, so much of change have come. They have, lot of upgrades keep coming up. I- It is HIPAA compliant, SOC compliant. Whatever LLMs we are using, whatever agents we are building could be in HIPAA compliant, where we have used for billing agents, for payers, and for medical billing, and SOX compliant. And this is getting common. So we can build a secured model, secured agent, where uh, you can be very comfortable in putting your client information. This is as for small business owners, we are thinking in a small level, right? Connecting to my email, connecting. When we work with healthcare industry, it involves lot of patient information and stuff like that. Lot of security needs to be placed, the governance have to be planned, which is all well planned. We have to just implement those in those plan when we build an agent. I don't want to I am not inventing any of these infrastructure, governance and stuff like that. There are companies who have already done and implemented it. We are going to use the same model for small business. So I there are many companies, if you see in West Coast startups, and how they are implementing AI in total different ball game, where they have using it in multiple levels. Now we are talking about connecting with email and automating. That's the basic stuff we are talking, but they are doing AI in total different level to run their business. And definitely it's all under compliance.
So we got about 10 minutes. If anybody else has any questions here. Um, so what is the process? So you've talked about this, talked about a little bit, but again, I'm a small business owner.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this. Um, you talk about, okay, we need to put an agent in. So I probably have used this on the other side when
Mm-hmm.
I've called somebody, but it
Mm-hmm.
didn't, I knew it was AI, but it didn't really click to me how I could do it. So from flipping it back to me as a small business owner, what do you need them to do from the second they say, can you help me do this?
Mm-hmm.
To, okay, we've got it in place and we are moving toward this ROI. I love the idea that you're thinking about ROI when you do this.
Yeah. First step, I have shared my calendar link. I shared my LinkedIn. Just set up a 1 hour time, block some time in my calendar. We'll do an one-on session. That's called a discovery call. When I call them, we are just doing a discovery. What business you do, what technology you're using, what is your current pain point you're facing. So just a high level discovery. And if I see if it's a small fix or if they need some small guidance, we'll give it in that call. If we need, there will be another call to understand, to go in detail. So the first call is discovery, where we talk about, it's a free, no obligation, just block my time, we'll talk. And the next is audit. So once they want to do after discovery,
Let me
we
ask you
go.
this before we go too much further here.
Mhm,
So we do in the chat, her LinkedIn profile's in there. So
mhm.
go connect there. But you do have your calendar link in there.
Yeah.
Now I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, the discovery call, this
Mhm.
call we're talking about, typically there is a cost to that. So you're not, for folks that are on here, we're not charging them. For folks that are watching the video of this, is there some way they can go in here and they say, okay, you know, I saw this on Small Business Breakthroughs, to give you a notification to say,
Mhm.
yeah, let's just chat
Mhm.
versus somebody coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, so when they go in my calendar, when they book at our so for the discovery call, as you said, for anybody who says coming from small business, then it's free. For So we are not going to charge them for it. Next is the audit, where we go sit with them, understand their business from start to finish. Okay, now that in the discovery you said you have these pain point, help me understand more about your business, how you do business, who are all your clients, what is your plan for next year, are you planning to expand, what technology are you using today, how are you billing, from start to end. We want to understand their business. That is called AI analysis or AI audit. We do the business and then we give a plan. Okay, based on what you're saying, these are the pain points and this is how you're running your business. This is where you can use AI. So we put a plan for 6 months to 1 year or 3 months to 6 months, depending upon the business. Then we'll say, okay, you can start here. If you start here doing this, you will see the money in next 3 to 4 weeks or 4 months, depending upon what we are implementing. Having that plan, putting that plan is called AI audit. We charge, but as I said, I am more committed to local business. We want to expand in local business here in Columbus. So we will give in a discounted price for that AI audit. If people are in this call or in local network area coming up, I am member of Dublin Chamber, Powell Chamber, and Westerville. So if people come, we want to expand our local presence. I have my clients in California, but being a being in Columbus for more than 25 years, I want to help local business. So we'll definitely take that extra step to help them understand, give a discounted price for AI audit. Once they decide what they want to do, then comes the build. Okay, how do we build? I can build, or you can build with, take this, give it to any company, technology company, they can build it for you, or I can build and I can do the support. That's the
Okay,
third step.
so that's great. Again, I think the small businesses need to think about what are the pain points. So, I mean, I like that you're getting into the pain points early on because that's where you can make the most impact. And I think sometimes they could be getting into a mode of everybody says I need to do this, so I need to do this, but I don't know why I need to do this. So that's what's great about thinking about it in terms of, okay, here's the business use case, here's my uh, pain points, here's how we can kind of go from there. So you have your email now in the chat
Mm-hmm.
and go from there. And also, I believe up at top is the Calendly link too. So
Yeah, Calendly link, they can set up a time, or in LinkedIn, they can message me anytime. There is a link for setting up a meeting with me through LinkedIn, or they can email me, whatever works. Since we are local, I would happy to come in person, have a chat, or we could do a Zoom call, depends. Yeah.
great, great. So got a couple of minutes left, and so I have two questions here. Number one, when we think about AI, when we think about the future of AI, um, which one do you anticipate is going to be the most likely outcome? It's going to be the Matrix, Skynet and the Terminator, or Battlestar Galactica? Mhm.
Maybe I would say Matrix.
Mm.
With all the complexity and
That
illusion.
I guess I joke about that, and I told you that when we first talked that I was an AI expert because I've seen all the Matrix movies.
Eh,
But you hear all this stuff about it's going to kill all the jobs and all of this, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, if it's a programming kind of thing, they may replace it with some agents and do some stuff. But from a small business standpoint, I mean, it's still about the people, and
Yep.
it's still about the owner, the team
Hmm.
working with that AI solution to improve your service, to basically automate some manual stuff. It's not about, okay, I'm just going to go away
Yeah.
and the machines are going to do it.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. That's how we have to see it for small and mid-sized companies. AI, as I said, think about you are running a business and you are taking today 2 days to give a result to your client versus your competitor implementing AI and he can give the same result in 10 minutes in when they are right there. So that's the difference we are trying to beat. It's not replacing, it's how efficiently you can run your business, provide information to the client so that you can retain them rather than saying, okay, I'll give you an answer in next a day or two. The possibility of losing the client is more. So being a small business, having all the data up in front when you're having a conversation with your customer and turning them into your long-term client is highly possible when you have right data in hand.
And when you talk about this too, I think the thing that is important is that, okay, I'm a small business owner, I can implement this, and instead of me paying $40,000 or $50,000 a year for an employee to do this, plus all the stuff that comes along with that,
Mhm.
I can put an agent in here and they'll do the manual piece. So now somebody's going to say, well, we've now cut a job, but we really haven't cut a job. We cut this job, but it's now going to give you more business,
More business.
you know?
More business, you'll be
And so
switching
you're
them.
going to potentially need more employees to do
Yep,
different
yep,
things. So you're
yep,
not really killing jobs, you're actually increasing jobs because you're getting to the point faster and you're doing this kind of redundant manual stuff
yep.
automatic.
That no AI can replace the creativity, the empathy, what human brings to the business. I don't think none of the AI can replace that, but it can replace the automation, the manual work and stuff like that. So that's the shift a business have to take it to make it more efficient so that they can outstand from their competitors.
Great. Well, I think that's a great place to end today. Thank you for being here. This has been great. We'll probably just have to have you on every other month now to kind of do
Happy
an
to.
update on what's going on. But really appreciate it. I know that you've been doing some training. I think you're
Mhm,
probably anticipating continuing to do some training
mhm.
going forward. So those are typically through partnerships. You currently doing it through the deck, and you said you were part of Dublin Chamber, PAL Chambers. You might be doing
Yeah,
some work with them, maybe
yeah.
doing some stuff with us. I got some cool ideas. Maybe we can do too.
Definitely happy to. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it, Miguel. Thanks for jumping on here and helping us out today. Thank you again, and look forward to seeing you on the next Small Business Breakthrough.
Thank you. Bye.